You're watching Zu viel Hitze.
Hey, hello, hi, this is Zu viel Hitze. You are watching Spin It Again, the series where we tell you about our current heavy rotation records. Welcome to our first full-length album review that is not a failed 3-minute review attempt. And this one is a special one because I'm actually releasing this review to a record that has been out for a while now, and I'm doing it out of spite. Let's just call it Justice for Beach Bunny. As an avid music enthusiast, you might be familiar with a little review channel here on YouTube called The Needle Drop. And I won't deny it, I grew up watching Anthony Fantano. I think he's a great critic, and he usually is very clear and concise about what he thinks about a record, what he likes, what he didn't like. I can really appreciate that. We just happen to disagree on some, lately plenty of records and projects. And the latest one was on Beach Bunny.
It's just sounding way too samey.
He put that record into his recent YNO review video, and I just wonder why. So this is kind of blasphemous to me. It's one of my favorite records of the year. So now let me tell you why I think this record is great and why you should listen to it. First things first, Beach Bunny is a 4-piece power pop and indie rock project from Chicago. Centerpiece of the band is the fantastic vocalist, guitarist and writer Lily Trifilio, certainly one of the best contemporary rock and pop vocalists. I love her voice a lot, I like her songwriting. She keeps on putting out consistently great power pop and indie rock tunes. So far, Beach Bunny have released 2 LPs, Honeymoon in 2020 and Emotional Creature, the one we are talking about right now, being the second one in 2022. They released a number of EPs, 5 if I am not mistaken, starting out with 2015's Animalism all the way up to 2021's Blame Game, which actually was one of my favorite EPs from last year. Now, Emotional Creature is a 12-track long LP that clocks in at almost 36 minutes, which is 10 minutes longer than their debut LP and in my opinion the perfect length for a record. They released a total of 5 singles leading up to this record, which were Oxygen, Fire Escape, Karaoke, Entropy and Weeds. So if you have been following Beach Bunny's evolution so far, you know what they do best, and that is short, energetic and powerful power pop and indie rock pieces that just stay in your mind for days and days on end. There are soundtracks for moody coming of age stories, for comfortable reading and thinking sessions in your most comfortable chair by the window, watching spring rains, summer sunsets, watching the leaves fall off the trees, or even watching snowflakes slowly descending towards the frozen earth in winter. It's easy to say Beach Bunny strictly makes summer music, and in my opinion it's just not entirely true. While that certainly might be the first association that you get with some of their more sweeter and sugary tunes, I would say their music is more made for tender and quiet moments of reflection. Sure, as I just said, they also have bangers that make you want to dance around and shout along, but when they play it more moody, and they do that on this record, all you want to do is get cozy, calm down and just stare out of the window and just contemplate. Just think about what's going on in your life. And it's no wonder with the influences they display here. You can hear Paramore, you can hear My Chemical Romance, and you can hear Weezer, you can hear their angst and graceful awkwardness, you can hear Bright Eyes and Sufjan Stevens' soft harmonies and vulnerability. You can even hear some of Always Noisy Melodies pop up here and there. You mostly get power pop, but you also get plenty of indie rock, indie pop, some pop punk, and also some twee and jangle pop melodies. And in the more tender moments, you can even hear some Midwest emo or indie folk elements. While we are talking about melodies, there is not a single track on this record that does not have a memorable melody. You get happy and upbeat like on Entropy, Oxygen and Fire Escape, you get bittersweet like Dead Weight, Gone, Weeds or Love Song, and you get downright moody like Eventually or Karaoke. Lily's lyrics are perfectly serviceable and sometimes quite heartwarming, tales of falling in love, falling out of love, doing it all over again. She sings about rejection, jealousy, miscommunication, desperation and just unadulterated joy. I think she sings from the point of view of a person that is young, emotional, vulnerable, feeling everything unfiltered and raw, and Lily's voice just fits that narrative perfectly. She really has you thinking like she's telling you a story that she just lived through the other day, and it really doesn't matter if it happened like that or not. It just feels very intermediate, very intimate, very relatable and very authentic. Some of my favorite moments on this record, of course, the opener Entropy that just draws you in with all its energy and forward-moving rhythms. The single power triplets that also contains Entropy, as well as Oxygen and Fire Escape. They have melodies and hooks for days. Then we have Eventually, that is barely 2 minutes long, as a great build-up from a very slow and moody track to an explosive. It all comes out eventually, sing-along at the end. Then you have the two super short tracks, Gravity. This one is an instrumental, and Infinity Room, which is a great transition to Karaoke, which is probably my favorite cut on this LP. It's very moody, it's very lush, it's such an excellent track. Then you have the synth elements on Scream, which is also an excellent track. You have this spaced out synth intro to it, and the synth pops up during the whole song. It's probably one of the best tracks they've ever written. And then of course we have Love Song, that's the closer. That's actually over 5 minutes long, which is super long in Beach Bunny time. It's of course a great track on its own, but towards the last third of the track it actually brings back elements from Eventually and Entropy in a sort of medley to close the album out. And then the last few seconds of that track you hear the synth that was first introduced in Gravity wash over you as the record slowly ends. There aren't really any major flaws on here. Lily's songwriting is just consistently good, frequently great even. The only real complaint that I can think of right now is the lack of experimentation. Now, Beach Bunny are only 2 LPs deep into their music career, so as of yet I'm not too concerned about that. Their shtick is not that played out at the moment, and tracks like Gravity and Scream already point in the right direction ahead. Lily's voice is certainly versatile enough to work against an instrumental backdrop like synth rock or even noise pop, and I for one am excited to see where Beach Bunny's musical journey takes them. I'll be here to listen to it. And since this is a full-length review, I would actually like to give a numerical score on this one. I feel like 8 beaches out of 10 bunnies for this LP. This was Spin It Again. We were discussing Beach Bunny's new record, Emotional Creature. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'd be more than happy. Thank you for watching. This was Zu viel Hitze.